Hello again and thanks for tuning back into the channel. This week's video has been split into two parts, and the reason for it being split into two parts is next week will include an entire edit from start to finish of that image there, whereas this week's is mainly looking at revisiting locations, looking at compositions for the autumnal colours which are on their way. So hopefully you'll watch both videos. As I say, the part 2 will be out next week, next Sunday. I'm going to move all the videos to a Sunday now because it helps me with my work. To be totally honest, it actually helps me with my work, so Sunday seems to be the best day to do it. Anyway, without further ado, here is Woodland Photography Part 1. In this week's video, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be looking at woodland photography, and if the midges don't get me first, but I'm going to be looking at woodland photography, and in particular as the colours are beginning to change now. You can see them just beginning to change. I wanted to come back then to a local woodland to look at a couple of compositions that I'd shot before and look for some new ones, like one that I've got here just now. And also look at the detail and the textures within the woodlands, just to see what I can come away with. If I can come away with anything I'm happy with. The whole idea of this, as I said, is to plan for when the colours are changing. And there'll be other things that I'll see then as well. But for now, I'm just going to enjoy the experience. I'm not going to hurry it, so it might be quite a slow video. But I'm not going to hurry it. I'm just going to enjoy walking through here and looking to see if there's any compositions. First composition I'm looking at is these three trees here. As you can see them there in the background if I'm not standing in front of them. And what I've already done is I've set the camera up and I've already set the crop to 5:4 because I don't want too many distracting elements. There's a tree here. Some of the branches are going to encroach onto this. I don't really want them. I don't think I'm going to remove them in post. I want to keep this as natural as I possibly can. Diagonals leading in to the image, and they've been set up for this crop. So I'm hoping, as I say, it's a new composition. I just quite like the look of it. And the midges are still here. I quite like the look of it. So I'm going to shoot it. And again, if it works, you'll see it in post. And I may even show you the editing process of this one as well, because I'm enjoying editing greens just now. Greens were always a nemesis of mine, to be honest, because I could never get them the way I wanted, and that's one of the reasons I come down and shoot while it is so green. It is on its cusp of changing, but the vibrancy is still there. So what I'll do is I'll get this shot. Because of the distance here, I am going to shoot at f13. And I'm also going to bracket this one because we've got a lot of brightness coming through from the sky. 2 seconds, okay. Zoom in. That's the first three. I'm now going to bring it forward onto these two trees here. Get a lock. Check both of them for focus, and it looks sharp to me. So what I'll do is I'll process them in post, and I'll add the two bracketed images together and hopefully get a nice image. Another thing I'm going to mention is it's good to be intentional with your shots and your composition as well. I've shot this one here with two different compositions. I've shot it square crop and then I've shot it full frame, and you can see what I'm going for here. It's the detail in this here, just the colour difference. Yes, they may be wilting, but as you notice at the top of one of them here, you can see that it is beginning to roll right up and die. So what I've done is I've set the tripod high and I've cut that out of the composition, and I'm shooting this in the Viltrox 85 1.8. I'm shooting it at f9, so let's see what we get from this. I'm going to just use back button focus and I'm going to take the shot. I've got my timer on as well. I'm going to bring that back a bit and I'll take the shot now, and if it works I'll put it on the screen. This tree here that I'm shooting just now, I've photographed before, but I photographed it in slightly mistier conditions. But what I'm going for with this one is there is a nice curve down this front tree over that edge, which is replicated by that tree in the distance. You might just see it off frame just now. I've shot it 5 before because there is a lot of sky. I've also shot it 1:1 crop as well, but there's a lot of sky here, and again I've bracketed. I've only used 3 stops of bracketing for this because it's quite a flat light, and you can imagine this with the moss and a good light on it, but it's quite a flat light, so it's quite hazy as well, if that kind of makes sense. A flat light that's hazy, but when you're looking through the trees, because of the contrast of the leaves, it is quite bright. And I've actually underexposed when I set up the bracketing for it as well. So taking the shot, focusing the tree in the background, that's a good distance away from this lens. It's a 24-70 f4 lens. It's a good distance away from the lens, so everything in the foreground here should be in sharp focus. If I don't fall over, bring you around this side just now, just so that hopefully you can see what I'm talking about. We've got this tree here where the curve is, and then we've got the curve replicated in the other tree, and I'm using that as my kind of focus of this image. I'm just looking for repeats in this, and this one, as I said, is a great one to shoot, especially in misty conditions. But as I say, I wanted to see it just with the greenery on it. It's beginning to change. Some of the leaves up there just beginning to die off, and I'm looking forward to coming back and shooting this one when the colours, the autumnal colours, come back in. So if this one works, I'll show you this one on the screen now. Hopefully you enjoyed part 1 of the video. As I say, it was just looking at compositions. Perhaps not the best compositions because there's many more to be found down there, but I thought I would take the chance and just show you a couple because I'm looking forward to the autumnal colours starting. The ferns going that rich brown and yellow, and the leaves beginning to turn into their autumn colours. So that's what I'm doing just now. I'm actually planning all the locations that I'm going to visit when the colours turn. Hopefully you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, tune in again next week for part 2 of the woodlands. I'm going to take you through an entire edit of the image I'm going to put on screen just now. Thanks again for watching, and see you in the next video.